Dr. Sarah, tell me about your exercise experience during pregnancy.
Yeah, so I have been exercising pretty much all through my pregnancy. I'm someone who exercise has been super important for my physical and mental health well before I was pregnant as well. So it was super important to me to kind of keep up with that on my pregnancy journey. It wasn't easy. Early on, I think like most women, really, I was struggling with my first trimester morning sickness and nausea, fatigue levels, and my cardiovascular fitness was really, really low. But slowly through the weeks coming into my second trimester, coming here, I was sort of, progressive overload and just building up my strength and fitness again. And honestly, by my last trimester, I felt like I was as fit, or if not more fit than what I was actually before I was pregnant as well. And it set me up so well going into the last sort of weeks of my pregnancy and through my birth and postpartum period as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. For the women
Yeah.
that are in that it's not easy period and they want to exercise but they're struggling. What worked for you? What
Yeah.
tips could you share to help with that difficult period of like when the days get rough? Maybe there's some morning sickness.
Totally.
I know you were very consistent
Yeah.
throughout.
Yeah, it is super hard in that first trimester for a lot of people, and it was for me as well. I think having some grace and giving yourself a little bit of time and space to kind of pace things out as you need, especially if you're someone who's been used to training 5 days a week beforehand, how you exercise and how you look after your body through your pregnancy is probably not going to be look the same as what it did before. So for me, it was really about slowing it down, pulling back the weights and focusing on, I guess, what my new goals were. So instead of working out to build muscle and all this kind of stuff, I was working out to, I guess, get outside and for my mental health and just to stay moving and to stay active as well. So really slowing it down was super important. And also finding exercise that fit in with what those goals were. So a lot of that first trimester for me was just getting outside and walking, and changing your mindset to be like, that is perfect what I've done for myself this week, and also being really proud that you actually just did something and it's okay that it looked different from what it did before.
I really like that zero guilt approach to going lighter or doing less and lowering the bar for the time being. And I really like what you said about reminding yourself what the goal is. Like maybe the goal in the past was shredding or fat loss or getting strong, but now the goal is your health, your mental well-being, your physical well-being, and therefore the baby's health as well.
When you said guilt as well, I think that really resonates, because I think so many women through just life and pregnancy and babies, there are so many spaces where we feel guilt, whether it's about weight gain or fatigue or not being able to show up in a family, or not bouncing back quickly or not spending enough time with your kids. There's all these places where we are just so conditioned to feel guilt, and I think trying to let go of that guilt is really, really important when it comes to your health, especially through a pregnancy period.
Yeah. Going outside, getting some fresh air, going for a walk.
Vitamin D.
Vitamin D. Maybe in the past you used to hit the gym 5 days a week, but now the new standard is 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Maybe you used to go heavy all the time, chase PBs, etc. But now it's like going within a comfortable range is good, and deciding on the day how heavy you're going to go. I know from a exercise science programming point of view, we benefited from giving Sarah a range sometimes. So it's like pick a weight between this kilogram and this kilogram based on how your body feels. And some days you might be able to go heavier, and then some days you might need to pull back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think now as well, being 8 weeks postpartum, although I would love to say that my goal would be get back to, squatting 60 kilos or whatever, but really my goal at the moment is I want to be able to pick up my daughter without hurting my back, and I want to be able to get outside and take her for walks and do activities and feel really good and healthy in myself. So that's something that even in the postpartum period has had to change as well.
Yeah. What can we learn from you about the journey of like after giving birth?
Yeah.
I feel like you've done a fantastic job in terms of how quickly you've recovered. I feel that you're, based on what I'm seeing, your recovery from giving birth to being back at the gym in some low capacity has been really effective. Stella agrees.
Stella agrees. Here you go. No, she doesn't want a dummy. That's fine.
What can you share about that journey from giving birth
Yeah.
to where you are now, which is 8 weeks postpartum?
Yeah. Giving birth is it's just rough. No matter whose journey I think it is. I mean, personally, I was quite lucky. I had a very controlled elective cesarean section. But whether you're having an elective cesarean, you're having a vaginal delivery, or an emergency cesarean, the process and recovery is rough, and there is massive both physiological and mental changes that go through in those weeks afterwards. So I think first of all, just knowing that no matter what the route is, I think everyone will. It's difficult. It's a really hard time. My recovery itself, I really struggled in the first couple of weeks. I was not expecting the pain that I had, and I was really struggling even to do a small walk around the block up until almost about a month postpartum. I had mentally prepared myself for probably 4 to 6 weeks of really struggling, so I was sort of ready for that. But it sucked. It sucked. After that time, though, I think probably the training that I've been doing through my pregnancy has helped me probably get back into things now at a really good time frame. So at 8 weeks now, I feel comfortable, and I'm back exercising without pain as well, which is great. Do you want to take the dummy?
Dr. Sarah, there's a lot of societal pressures and societal conditioning around looking a certain way. I mean, us Aussies, we're forever trying to look good for the beach and achieve shreds. What's your take on female bodies look in a certain way and the pressure to get back to a certain weight versus allowing the body to heal and recover after postpartum?
I think there is so much pressure for that kind of bounce back and finding your way back to your kind of pre-baby body. And I think that sentiment can be really damaging, and I think it puts so much pressure on women in general in that phase where we really should be, again, giving ourselves some grace and letting ourselves recover from the birth itself, whether that's been a vaginal or a cesarean, and also help support in the way that we're feeding our babies, whether it's breastfed or bottle fed or formula. Putting that pressure on ourselves to then jump straight back into high amounts of exercise and calorie deficits and trying to achieve fat loss right from the get-go, I think really stalls the way that our bodies need to heal in that postpartum period. And it's something that when I'm often talking to my patients, I really want them for that 6 months to try and slow it down, even if it's not something they're used to doing.
I like the idea of slowing down. We don't need to go for fat loss straight away. What's your advice on what do you want that to look like, or what's a general recommendation for? I know that you mentioned in the beginning struggling to go for a walk around the block, and then you did a fantastic job for 5 or 6 weeks later being at the gym. What's a good timeline, or what are you thinking in terms of how does that look?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess in the really directly postpartum period, it does depend on how you've delivered. Obviously, if there's been a cesarean section, it's a big major operation. So really, we're talking for the first 2 to 4 weeks, next to no exercise whatsoever. And the first week or two, just getting around the bedroom or getting around the house is probably more than enough. If you've had an uncomplicated vaginal delivery, that stuff can come back a bit faster. So, you might be getting back to doing walks by the end of the first week. But again, everybody's different. So really pacing out and really listening to your body in those first 4 weeks postpartum is super important, and not pushing yourself, but just finding that really nice balance of getting some exercise that feels like it's really aligned with where you are in your recovery period. If we're talking, again, cesarean, I think because there's more restrictions being major operation, really it's that 6 to 8 weeks postpartum that you're able to start doing more and more exercise as well. A lot of the time for any weight-bearing exercise, we're saying 8 weeks because we really want that scar to really have some recovery and to have some healing before we start loading up the body as well.
You're doing a great job of 8 weeks postpartum being in the gym. How much time do you think women should give themselves once they're in the gym for their rebuild of strength to occur before they start to think about maybe going into a deficit to shred some of the extra kilos they've gained.
Yeah.
Are we talking 2 or 3 months? Do we need to give ourselves 4 to 6 months, or is it something that we do a year later?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's no right or wrong. There's no one answer to that, and it really depends on what your goals are. Are you going to be quiet and let us do this? Why are you so cranky? Why are you so cranky?
Okay.
She's cranky. She's cranky. Okay.
I could stand with you. Just continue standing.
Put this in your mouth.
The camera won't?
Put
Okay.
this in your mouth. Is that better? Stay. Stay. Stay.
Maybe not.
It's like we just have to
Just start lifting the camera.
No, that's okay. just until she chills.
Do you want me to repeat the question, or do you want Dr. Sarah to just continue?
Cut out the pieces.
Because I've...
just let it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I really think that it's important to say that there's no one size fits all with that. Generally, though, I'm of the opinion, I think it's really worthwhile taking that 4 to 6 months before really starting to look into doing any fat loss itself. Even more so if you're breastfeeding, it's really important that you're having enough calories, that you're able to still be making enough milk as well, and just letting your body go through all of that healing. Because we need to be fueled to be able to do that.
Yeah, focus on fuel, focus on rebuilding strength before starting to think about a calorie deficit.
Absolutely. And I guess within that, oh, babe. Along with that, a lot of people through their pregnancy, we're not loading our body as much as we were before. So often we will have some amount of muscle mass loss, which might translate to then a drop in that metabolic rate after we have a baby. I mean, for some people, breastfeeding does keep up the sort of basal metabolic rate a little bit more. But that being said, I think using that 6 months to really prepare the body, if a fat loss is what you're wanting to aim for down the track, preparing the body by reintroducing the resistance training, making sure that you're getting that progressive overload, making sure you're getting enough protein and calories to actually build some muscle. Because if you're running on a deficit, you won't be able to build that muscle. You won't be nurturing your metabolic rate. And then the extra stress that you're putting on your body by going into a calorie deficit, I think it's just not really the stress that we should be doing to ourselves when we've just had a baby.
Yeah, too much too soon.
I think it's too much too soon.
What do you think is a good amount of strength training for ladies to target? How many days per week?
I'm a big fan of 3 days per week. A lot of people think that they need to be training 7 days a week and flogging themselves with HIIT training and high intensity cardio, but really 3 good sessions of resistance training and keeping it really simple, doing 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps and having really good rest time so your heart rate's coming back down. It means that you're going to be sending really fantastic signals to your muscles and your brain to kind of utilize the fuel and the calories that you're having. So it doesn't need to be taking up hours and hours of your day. We're talking, that could be 45-minute sessions.
Yeah, 45-minute sessions, 3 days per week. Are there any exercises that you've found you want to avoid early on in the recovery after postpartum?
Yeah, I mean, early on, there is so much abdominal wall healing that's happening. So being really careful on a lot of those, I guess, core exercises and your big compound movements. So looking at squats and deadlifts, reintroducing them really, really slowly first, starting just with body weight or baby weight, or weights that are not that much more than your baby, and then slowly progressing that as time goes on.
I like how your take on taking it easier with the compound lifts is not really fear or avoiding those movements. You're still doing them, but you're stripping it back to just body weight or baby weight, and then gradually climbing through the ranks with slightly heavier dumbbell, now medium-sized dumbbell, and then eventually being back at a barbell.
And I think the thing that we sometimes forget is how massively our biomechanics change through pregnancy and afterwards. Through the pregnancy itself, your center of gravity is completely different. You're loading your spine and your vertebrae in a different way. You're loading your hips differently. And then all of a sudden you have a baby and you drop all of this fluid and everything changes again. And so there's huge, huge changes. And so a lot of stripping it back is just trying to find that baseline again of going, well, how does my body work now? How does it feel? And relearning yourself again, because it's just not going to be the same as it was before.
The women that you've had an opportunity to help with preparation for pregnancy and life after pregnancy, what mistakes are they making that we could learn from so that we can avoid those mistakes?
Preparation for falling pregnant, or
Like, I guess once a lady, maybe even preparation for falling pregnant, that might be a good place to start. But then once a lady is pregnant and then life after pregnancy.
yeah. Look, I think before being pregnant, eating and exercise is really, really important. And one thing that we know and we've proven again and again and again is being in a healthy BMI weight range. And obviously, BMI is not the only factor, but it is a pretty good gauge of where, I guess, the balance of fat and muscle is sitting. But being in a healthy BMI range is actually really important when it comes to fertility. And it goes both ways. I mean, there is a lot of pressure on the body if you are overtraining and not eating enough. It suppresses the hypothalamus in the way that we actually ovulate and the way that our cycles work. So it's really important to make sure that we are eating enough, but also at the same time that we're not sitting up in kind of obese categories, and we are keeping, I guess, our body fat in that sort of healthy weight range. And that really does optimize our chances of getting pregnant. So that's in the lead up. Through pregnancy itself, similar, I think it's really important to be listening to your body in terms of what it is that you can eat. Some people, hunger is out of control and they're finding, I guess, that typical eating for two can be there. They get a lot of signals about needing to load on simple carbohydrates, and then often protein drops off as well. On the flip side, some people have horrible food aversions and they're finding it hard to even get in one meal a day. And both of those extremes, I think, can be potentially add some challenges in through pregnancy, but also, again, recovery postpartum when it comes to managing return to exercise, and also if you're trying to return to what your body weight was before through a fat loss phase. So keeping that consistent and really listening to what those cues are, I think is important.
I love what you said about having a healthy weight range.
Yeah.
So not allowing yourself to, I guess, be under muscled and carrying too much fat if you're trying to fall pregnant, but
Totally.
looking to get in shape, be in good condition, because that increases
Yeah.
the success rate.
And I think if the goal is having a baby, if the goal is having regular periods, regular cycles, being 18% body fat, that's not it. It's not going to be
Yeah.
helpful. It's really important that we've got a really good amount and a really healthy amount of fat stores to be able to support all those hormones as well. So I think we get really stuck on one extreme or the other, but it's about finding that really happy medium.
As the lady is getting ready for pregnancy, or maybe say a lady's fallen pregnant, what can the men do? What's some good partner advice?
That's a
for
good question.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I guess I'd love for you to think outside of the box and think as you've gone through this journey, what's some advice for the fellas?
I mean, I think for men as well, if they're preparing to become fathers, I think it's still really important for them to stay fit and active, because you want to be in your best shape as you can, and also not just physically but mentally as well, to help support your partner. I think as well, being that motivated to us, like maybe, do you want to get outside for a walk? And we haven't gone out today. Why don't we try this? And I think kind of being that cheerleader, for me at least, was really, really helpful through my journey. And also being encouraged, like if there's other kids at home or if there's other commitments, saying, hey, I'll take care of this so you can go and do your exercise, to make sure that you've ticked that off for the week so you're feeling really good. Help in terms of nutrition at home too, because sometimes the idea of cooking and making any kind of food is just so repulsive. So if then there's someone else at home or a partner at home that can help to make sure that you're getting enough calories and good quality calories and getting a good range of your fruit and vegetables, so you're getting your macro and micronutrients, that goes a really long way.
My wife's pregnant at the moment. She's at about 3 months to go, so
Oh my
I think
gosh.
I need to brush up on my cooking skills, get some protein meals
Absolutely.
whipped up.
Yes.
I love what you said there about the partner also being fit and being in shape. I think when both parents are working on their fitness, working on being in shape, I think, and I've read lots of studies that support this as well, we end up passing on healthier genes to our kids. So happy, healthier parents equal happier, healthier kids.
Yeah, there's definitely some evidence that's coming out that's showing that if you are, as a mum, if you're training through your pregnancy with resistance training, we actually are seeing kids that tend to be stronger as well, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, strong genetics are getting passed on, and less likely to have metabolic conditions
Totally.
and metabolic things happening as well. You go.
Cool. One thing that I haven't touched on probably as well in terms of the importance of diet and exercise through pregnancy is gestational diabetes is so common, and really anyone can be affected. You do not need to you do not need to be struggling with overweight, obesity. You do not need to have a family history of diabetes or a personal history of pre-diabetes. It really is something that can affect any woman through her pregnancy, but the regular exercise, keeping that up through before pregnancy and through your pregnancy, and keeping on top of, again, the really good quality meals with enough calories and a good balance of protein, that can really, really help in avoiding the development of gestational diabetes too.
Staying on top of exercise and making sure that we get enough protein in.
Absolutely.
Dr. Sarah, now that you're 8 weeks postpartum, we're in August 2025. What are your health and fitness goals for the rest of 25, and what are you looking forward to improving on, even in the new 2026?
Yeah. First of all, at the moment, I'm just so excited to be back training, because it has been, for me, a big chunk of time off in the last 3 months. So I want to first just work on consistency and finding my routine, because new baby does make routine a little bit challenging and things look really different. So number one for me is working out how exercise and how it fits in and where it fits in and what that looks like. So I really want to work towards that consistency. Secondly, I'm really excited to see where I can get in terms of my strength over the next 6 months. I had some beautiful wins towards my second and third trimester where I was seeing really good progress actually on some of the weights that I was moving around. So I'm very excited. Now I am postpartum and feeling like myself again to see where I can get for that strength. And thirdly, my plans is to go back to work as a GP in October as well. So I really want to be able to set myself up so I'm feeling energized at work. I'm not going to get trouble with back pain while I'm back in an office chair. And I've got this really lovely balance of family life, work life, but also the exercise and the things that I need for myself to feel really good as well.
Your clip of you doing squats throughout your pregnancy journey is one of the most impressive things I've seen. It's fantastic how, as the weeks go on, you're still squatting, and baby Stella's just growing and growing and growing, but you're not stopping with your squats.
Yeah.
Power to you.
But you didn't see the 3 to 4 minute rest between every set and me being absolutely gassed sitting out on the sidelines.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing your story.
My pleasure.